All right, everybody. Tanner here for your tool of the week. This may not build greatly on last week's. I know not everybody follows and watches these in a succinct fashion, but I came out of a meeting like 4 weeks ago, maybe more, that I was to share this tool with one of the leadership teams of a company I'm involved with, and dropped the ball on it. So I'm sharing it here so I can share with them. I think I talked about this at least maybe closer to 3 years ago. But followed by all as an EOS principle, concept, EOS tool that I'll talk about. But even if you're not running on EOS, I think this really, really applies. If you have not documented your core processes, or in other words, if you don't have SOPs, then you know what? Go ahead and skip this one, because you got. I don't care how small the team is. I know I've talked about it before. I do a lot of virtual training to inspiring necessity entrepreneurs in Brazil, and have done a variety of trainings in Africa. And people always ask, well, when do I know if I'm ready to scale or to hire? And it's easy for us in the developed world to think about, there's some really basic concepts, but in my opinion, you're not ready to even hire your first person if you've documented any of your processes. I'm not suggesting everything has to be documented, but I'm harping on the documentation piece, getting it written out, mapped out, whatever that is, tools and templates for the documentation process. But what I really want to focus on is the followed by all piece. And I'm not going to read verbatim what's on this. You can download the PDF here. Again, this is straight out of the toolbox from EOS or from the book Traction. Train, measure, and I think LMA is lead, manage, and accountable, if I'm not mistaken, and then update. And so thinking through, at the end of the day, to succinctly simplify, followed by all means everyone within your team follows the process, whatever your way is. This is how we do client onboarding. This is how we do customer or whatever. Follow through implementation. We follow the process. This is the process, and everyone follows it the same way to create. I think this avoids mistakes, missing major things, and it's predictability in the overall customer experience. Again, it doesn't matter the product or service or business or industry you're in. It's creating the system, creating the process, and everyone following that. And here's my opinion, because having worked through this over the last not quite 10 years, but I remember it was, we would there would be some friction in not everyone follows this. And then my argument would be, well, I don't think it's right yet. And so it's like the iterative process of getting the process right. But if it's right, if the process is right, we should expect everyone in our team, even if that's external, if that's a collaborator or a vendor or whatever, if we've determined this is our process, why wouldn't we hold them to the standard to follow the process? So there you go. Hopefully this maybe motivates some discussions as we're kind of in closing out or in the midst of Q4 and I'm already thinking about annual planning and what does 2026 look like, and documenting and following the process. Have a great week.